have you done any jail time in the past?
Actually, yes. I went to prison when I was 17 years old. It was crazy. It's a crazy situation. When I was young, I'm not gonna lie, to get into a lot of trouble. I hung with a lot of guys and was doing things I had no business doing. And it was my 18th birthday, and we was having a kickback for me, like a kickback party. And it's like me, it's like always me and like my sister and like a whole bunch of guys. Or if my sister not was me, it's just always me and all the bros. And they had some guns, and it was supposed to not have any bullets in it, but it wound up having a bullet in one of the guns. And my closest friend, I call him my brother, his name is Anthony Drake. Rest in peace to Drake. He wound up getting shot in his chest, and I just watched him like take his last breath. Like it was like he just was like looked at me, held his chest, and his eyes just rolling back his head, and he just dropped. And it was like everybody that was there just took off running, and I wound up staying. So the police took me to the interrogation room to basically ask me about the situation that happened, because it was an accident. You know what I mean? But it just was weird how it happened. And yeah, when they ran my name, I wound up having warrants, and they literally locked me up. From there, I got sentenced 5-1, and I was sent to prison. So I did 7 months in Lee Arundel State Prison. I took my first offender, and I just been trying to move and stay on the straight path since then, because prison taught me a lot. There was a lot of girls that was doing things that I was doing in the streets with 20-year sentences, life sentences, and it just made me feel like, damn, like imagine if that was me, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, that's yeah, it's embarrassing, but yeah, it happened.
That was the longest amount of time you've ever done in a jail
Yes.
scenario.
Yes, that's the longest I've ever done. I've been like, I was like going like to Metro back in the day, juvenile fighting, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But like, this is just, the longest. Like, I had to sit down in jail for 2 months, and I wound up losing my grandfather September 6th, 2013. And I wasn't able to attend their funeral, and that shit like bothers me to this day. Just being incarcerated for something that I haven't done, and that's very serious. And it's not. This is I'm going through a similar situation. Like it's not the first time it's happened to me, basically. So like it's just really fucked up, like how people would just, this is going back to being beautiful, how, it could be a gift and a curse, because some people hate your existence so much, they really want you wiped off the earth. And, they don't want to do that. They want to see you locked up, incarcerated. They want to see you doing bad. So I just got to always be 10 steps ahead.
They may even want to see your face slashed.
I really do think that, they want to see acid poured on me. They don't want me to be who I am, because they're not happy with who they are. So I just watch out for the snakes.
Well, I asked you these questions for context for this next question, which was, have you heard or listened to any of these leaked jail calls from Young Thug online?
Man, though, let me tell you something. I can't say nothing because, I fuck with street niggas, and, it's a code. A lot of niggas say, you don't pillow talk to your female, but when you locked up and you going through shit and you ain't got nothing else to do but talk, that's what happened. He felt like he was, in a safe place to speak to his girl about whatever he wanted to speak to her about, to make his time go by easier. You know what I'm saying? I mean, hey, I ain't nobody to judge. I done got them pillow talk a couple times my man about some shit, and a lot of these niggas know they done did the same motherfucking thing. So they really could shut the hell up. You know what I'm saying? But that shit is funny, cause just like Yancy said, I ain't here playing with that pussy not one motherfucking time on that goddamn call. I hear him say set up the video visit and had that ass out of nothing. He was just going off on every fucking body. But yeah, man, I fuck with like this shit just crazy. Like I hope, the allegations ain't true about him being a rat, because like, what? Not thugger.
Now, let's just remove him for this next question out of the equation, but have you ever heard of something of this nature happening to anyone else that's been locked up before, where their calls, their jail calls were leaked?
No, like, I haven't gotten my My friends ain't got this solidified celebrity status where motherfucker even give a fuck about hearing they leak jail calls. So no, we ain't never had that happen before. Yeah, no.
But curious, because of your, past experiences and things of that nature with what you've been through and you just described, do you have any ideas how these jail calls are getting leaked?
They somebody getting paid for that. You know what I'm saying? They paying them folks to leak that shit, man. Them folks know what they do. This all a business at the end of the day. They be doing it from the beginning. You got a celebrity coming in there like, there's no way. Everybody know the calls are being recorded, but you're thinking about them being brought up in court. You're not thinking about the people that's, working at this job where you got bloggers and people who could say, hey, I got you 50K life-changing money, where you could say F this job if you wanted to give me these phone calls. They're gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? That's what you choose when you become a celebrity. So it's just like, shit, if some of my goddamn chats right now get leaked, I'm through. So I can't say shit about those.
Now, looking back on how everything's played out, and you see something of this nature take place where someone of his status has their jail calls leaked, what do you take away from that? What did you learn from seeing what he's going through and so on and so forth?
Shit, stay out of jail, stay out of trouble, and at the end of the day, just know these folks only wish it for the moment. You know what I'm saying? Just like how everybody was just free thugger, everything was just all about him. See how quick they just switched up on you over some calls or some allegations. You just gotta remain humble at all times. That's all I can say about it. That's what I learned from that situation.
And just for transparency, do you know Young Thug personally by any
No, I do
chance?
not. I do not. I do not know that boy.
And I do want to clarify one thing. You mentioned that you were doing this 5-do-1 at the age of 17?
Yes.
Is that possible for a 17-year-old to do, or is that like an
Oh
18 and up
yes.
thing?
When I was in prison, I was in there with the 14-year-old who killed her little sister. If you from Atlanta, you know the story about the girl from Decatur, where her parents was her little 2-year-old sister was missing, and the parents and everybody was looking for her. And they wanted to find her in the backyard, stabbed to death, and it was the 14-year-old sister. And when I had went to prison, she was in there. See what they'll do is, when you're underage, they'll keep you in a place called SMU. So you'll basically be like in protective custody. And then when you turn 18, then that's when they'll let you out and you'll be able to GP into regular population and be with everybody else. So they did have girls that were underage in there that's, yeah.
So you're in your own pod with them.
Yeah.
Did you end up doing GP during that 7 months?
I GP'd during those 7 months. I GP'd in out of diagnostics, and I had went to G3. So I wound up getting early release because they didn't actually give me all my time. Like I had time served already, but the lawyer didn't put in for it. But my dad was not playing with them, and the lawyer had basically filed a motion, and so they had to literally immediately release me. Like I swear it was so crazy. Like I was in a room and they just everyone thought I was gonna be going crazy in jail, but I really was really heartbroken because I just lost my best friend. I just watched him die in my face. So I was traumatized. I stood to myself the whole time in jail, and they just Rodriguez, pack it up. And I'm like, what? They can someone come and get you today? I'm like, bitch, today? Yes, right goddamn now. I called my daddy, and they came right up there and came and picked me up, and I went home, and from there, I ain't looked back. I ain't even thinking about prison. I swear to God.
This 14-year-old that you mentioned that this was going on, was she fighting a case or she was sentenced to the case in that pod?
She was sentenced. She had caught 25 years, and she was inside the pod, but they were just holding her there until she turned 18.
And did you have any experiences with her while you were both locked up in said pod?
Yeah, when I used to have to go to school and stuff, I used to see her, but I kept my distance because, I just feel like I ain't respect her for what she did. I love my siblings to death, and, you stabbed her because you didn't want her to tell about you having a boy in the house. That was just something I couldn't respect. I understand you're a child, but for you to be a child to think like that, I need to stay away from you. So, yeah.
And just wondering what it was like with that person in there. Now, I do want to ask you one more thing here, which is this best friend of yours that had passed away. And you actually described what you saw when this person took his last breath and things of that nature. You know, some of this stuff that, well, before I even ask you this, was this the first time, the only time you've ever seen someone's last breath get taken in
Um,
front of you?
when I was younger, I used to travel a lot back and forth to New York. And I remember one of the guys that lived in the projects that was in Cortland. I remember we had seen him outside and he had like paper bags on his hand and like he was like still alive and like they were trying to like resuscitate him, but he wound up dying. He was shot. So like that was my first time like really seeing someone die, but like someone close to me though, like my ex-boyfriend, he didn't die, but he got shot in my face. Like we literally was chilling, you know, smoking outside. It was an altercation that popped off, and the guy came around the corner, and my boyfriend at the time didn't have his gun on him because he left, you know, he left in the house. We outside kicking in the back, and he just came around the corner and like literally shot my ex like 4 times, like in my face. And like this is like after I already experienced what I've experienced with my closest friend, my brother Anthony. And you know, we didn't expect for him to die. We didn't know it was a bullet in the gun. I know he didn't think that. But yeah, it's fucked up.
For those in the audience that have seen, this sort of thing depicted in music, excuse me, yes, they've heard this depicted in music, they've seen this depicted in music videos, television, movies, video games, so on and so forth, but have never experienced this in real life. Is there a difference seeing one's last breath take place in front of you versus what's depicted in entertainment?
Yes, it is. It's like it's just scary. Like it's like when I think of him, like even just playing in my mind, it's just like a certain way their eyes roll in the back of their head. Like it's like I don't know, like I was scared to touch him for some reason, but I don't know, it's like I went into shock. And it's very different to see someone being shot in your face rather than just watching it on TV. It's like, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? Shoot his brains out. But when that happens in front of you, like that could be traumatic. Like I literally, you know, had dreams, nightmares about that for the first year of him passing. But things are better now. You know, I pray about it. I walk by faith, not by sight, and I know he is my guardian angel. And you know, I'm thankful for my time that I was able to spend with him.
Now, speaking of the trauma here, and not just this, the variety of trauma that you've suffered from throughout your upbringing and your life and things of that nature. Some stuff people have no knowledge about, don't see because of the positive side of things that you show on social media and so on and so forth. But mentally, has this been something you sought any professional help over?
No, I haven't. You know, people say me I need a therapist. I just feel like I just need God and I just need to just stay grounded and make my money and stay focused. You know what I mean?
Why not? Some people do go that route. Why not for you?
Because I feel like we're all humans and like sometimes I could be a therapist. I could tell you things and just because I'm telling you things and pouring into stuff doesn't mean that I'm gonna listen. And you know, I'm not sure how would that help me. Like I really don't know. And I'm just not a person to just put people in my business like that. It's just something that I'm not comfortable with. I did that as a child before, like, you know, trying to reach out for help in certain different ways and talk to people. And it's always been something that's been brought back in my face. So I just learned to keep my feelings and my thoughts to myself and just go through what I go through.
Would you be open to any of this sort of thing in the future at all?
I may think about it, you know, when it's time for me to settle down, have children and things, so I can make sure my mental health is where it's supposed to be, with when I'm where I'm going with motherhood and, you know, marriage and things like that. But for right now, I just feel like, you know, I'm just taking it day by day. And, you know, I still got traumatic things happening. I just lost my nana, my best friend, my everything. She just died on the 27th of May, and it's been hard, you know.
This grandmother of yours on the mother side of the family or father
This
side?
my dad's father's mom. But, you know, she's 93 years old. I don't know life without her. But she passed, you know, and, you know, things happen. And a couple weeks later, my Theo, my Uncle John, passed from cancer. He found out he had cancer within 2 months. He was deceased. You know, so I just try to take life, like, you know, for what it is and just live every day like it could be my last because you never know, you know.
Now, you mentioned God here. Do you follow religion by any chance?
I'm a Christian. I believe in God. You know, I need to start. I don't. It's difficult with me because a lot of things that I have a lot of questions about, but I believe in God. I believe in a higher power, and I'm gonna say that much.
When it comes to Christianity, does it get any more specific than that, like a particular branch or denomination under Christianity?
No, I know I grew up in church, and you know, I believe in God and Jesus Christ. I believe He died for our sins. But it's a lot of, you know, things that kind of confuses me, you know, with the Bible and things like that. But yeah, you know, I believe in God. I haven't gotten that deep until I didn't even know they had all of that.
Yeah, like sometimes you'll hear phrases like Baptist or Roman Catholic or
Oh
this or that. So
yeah,
those are still under Christianity, but they're like specific branches under it, or the umbrella is Christianity, but then sometimes people get very specific
yeah,
under that.
Pacific. Okay, I did. I would say I went to a Baptist church, you know, so I guess I'd be a Baptist. Period.